good evening. This is Rose Flores from Fantastic Fun Flores Family, a Catholic homeschooling family. And I didn't get to make a video yesterday because me and my husband, we actually ended up talking for a couple of hours. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do for the holidays. We were wanting to go to both San Antonio and to Dallas for Christmas and for New Year's. So we're trying to, figure out the logistics of how we're going to do it. And it seems kind of hard because it's like 2 weekends in a row. And my husband is going to be working, he only, because the Christmas and New Year's actually ended up happening on the weekend. So he's not going to get probably the extra days that he would have gotten if it would have landed like on a Thursday. He'd get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. So we're trying to figure it out. My brother invited us to go to San Antonio for Christmas, and we also want to go to Dallas for New Year's. So we have to go to San Antonio, come back, wash everything, repack, and then go back out to Dallas. We'd have like 4 days in between both holidays. And so that seems kind of a little bit tough. And another thing that, that was brought up in our conversation was that, it's going to be a lot of days for us to be, not home. And when you go to somebody else's house, you can't dictate what they're going to cook. That's kind of one of the reasons why I do like to do my own cooking. And I do like to host parties, because that way I know what we're being fed. And what I mean is, I know that it's not going to have gluten. I know that it's not going to have any type of dairy. I know that it's not going to have very much sugar. So we're saying that we're going to be on a non-restrictive diet for quite a while. I don't know how our bodies are going to handle it. I think we're going to be, it'll probably be the 2 weeks, almost, couple of day or so before Christmas, all the way until after New Year's. So maybe about a week and a half until we get back into our house, into the routine of things. And so all of that, that I just said leads me to explain to you guys why we are in such a restrictive diet. It's not because we're on some type of healthy, gluten-free trend. We actually do have medical conditions. I have a Hashimotos, which is an autoimmune disease. It's where your body kind of starts to attack itself, and it does, attack my thyroid. And so I was told that I have to come off of gluten and dairy and corn and peanuts and tree nuts and sugar. And there's some fruits and vegetables that I can't eat because they're goiters. And I actually do have a goiter, let me find it. Right here. And it's like a rock. I feel it. It's like big rock right there. Feels like kind of like a small marble. And so it attacks it. My thyroid is pretty damaged. And so one of the ways to treat it is with that restrictive diet. Now, my diet came about I want to say not even a year later, after my daughter Mia Bella was diagnosed with asthma. Now, she was constantly she had eczema since she was a baby, and we tried to control it, but it was hard to control. She was always having a runny nose, and she didn't have a fever or anything, but she always had a cough with really bad phlegm that would make her gag, and a runny nose, and severe eczema. And we tried to control the eczema, but it was kind of hard to do. And I didn't realize that it was due to her diet. About 2 years ago, she kept getting a serious respiratory illnesses where she did have to go to the hospital a couple of times. When they did run the test, well, we would take her to the doctor, and the doctor would always say, oh my God, you got to take her to the hospital. She's got pneumonia or she's got bronchitis. And so we'd be panicking and we'd rush to the hospital. And we're glad we did, because on one of the occasions she nearly passed out from the lack of breathing. And so being at the hospital, they ran several exams, chest exams as well, and they weren't able to tell me that it was asthma, but they would tell me that there was some type of respiratory problem. They weren't able to diagnose her. However, after a couple of times, I think it was like 3 times of that, one of the doctors told me that I needed to take it to an allergist. He's like, I believe it could be asthma. And so we did end up taking her to the allergist shortly after that. And that's when she told me this, your child is severely allergic to several things, including eggs and dairy. And her eczema, her eczema, I don't know how to say, her eczema causes the asthma attacks, basically. I don't know what the right terminology would be right now. I'm super tired. And so that actually was the first time we started on a pretty restrictive diet with cutting out eggs and dairy and what else was she allowed to eat? They hadn't told me not to let her eat gluten, but no eggs, no dairy, no sugar. Try to eliminate the sugar as much as possible. And then, like I said, shortly after that, maybe about, I want to say 9 months after that, I was diagnosed with, well, no, it was probably about a year. This was just 6 months ago or so. I was diagnosed with Hashimotos. And that's when we really had to start, changing everything that we eat. Now we have to do, we don't have to, but I'm choosing to. Like, we're doing everything organic, non-GMO, no artificial colors or flavors. Try to do no nitrates. We try to do is, take out all the chemicals that we possibly can from our diet, plus all the other things that we're not allowed to eat. And so it can get really, really tough. So that's the reason why we are on the restrictive diet that we're on. And my husband and my children get super, super, super mad at me. But I'm like, guys, don't you understand? It's for your own good. And so every once in a while we will go out to eat and do something, nice, but, eat something unhealthy rather. But for the most part, we do have to try to eat at home. Because, 1, there's not a lot of healthy restaurants out there. And 2, it would get very expensive if we were trying to go out to restaurants all the time and eat the really restrictive diet that we need to eat. And so that's that. Once again, guys, I'd like to thank you for watching the Fantastic Fun Flores Family, a Catholic homeschooling family. God bless you. Have a good night.